Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Kingdom Season 2, a South Korean television series from 2020. Season 2 is 6 episodes long, with each episode ranging between 36 and 52 minutes each. I did review Season 1 on this channel last year. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I must say that Season 2 takes this show and it takes it to the next level. I think this is better than Season 1. There were a few criticisms that I had with Season 1. First of all, I felt that, despite the excellent cast of leads, Ji-hoon, Doon-ah-bae, Seung-ryong, the characters themselves were not particularly memorable in Season 1. Their development was sufficient, and the performances were solid, but I did not think that these actors were given enough from a script writing standpoint to really push their characters in a dramatic sense. But I think Season 2 rectifies this problem. Doon-ah-bae plays a more important role in the story here, instead of just kind of tagging along or being in the background, which I felt she was kind of relegated to in the first season. I actually felt like they utilized her appropriately in Season 2, and there are some key moments in this show where she's directly involved. So I was happy with her utilization, I guess you can say, in this second season. We also get some good interaction between Seung-ryong and Jun-ho Hyo, who was, if you ever saw Jumong, he was the actor who played Hae-mo-soo. So he's always been Hae-mo-soo to me, you know what I mean? That's like one of his career highlights, his signature roles, and he's in this, of course, with Seung-ryong, who I refer to as the man, because he's been in so many good projects over the past decade. So you have the man and Hae-mo-soo interacting with each other more in Season 2 here, and that was a real treat for me, seeing those two in the same scenes together. So I thought that was pretty neat stuff. That it was one of the most memorable aspects of this show dramatically. Then you have Sung-gyu Kim, who plays like the badass side character, and he actually continues to be the badass side character to Ji-hoon's lead role, and he's also continuing to make an impression. We're spending more time with him along the way, and he's kind of, earning his stripes and making more of an impression here. So I continue to like him more and more as this show carries on. So he's even making a little bit more of an impression in Season 2. And then we have the Queen, who also gets a bigger role in this season, and I liked her as well. She's a bit of a psycho, and I liked that. So you have all of these characters who are even livelier and more developed in this season, and they all get their specific moments to shine, which automatically makes the dramatic stuff and the human conflicts more engaging. Ji-hoon not only attempts to elude all these zombie outbreaks that are going on, but he also tries to take down the man in his fortress and assassinate him. So you have multiple conflicts, multiple problems going on, and that keeps things moving. After rewatching Season 1 last week, I also noticed that the last two episodes 5 and 6 of Season 1, were not quite as entertaining as the first 4 episodes. But Season 2 is an entirely different beast. Every single episode in this season is highly entertaining. And the final 2 episodes are even better than the previous 4, because it ends with this lengthy finale, and it really satisfies. At the end of this season, you're satisfied, whereas the end of the first season, you were kind of in flux. So I would say this season is so fast-paced that you could easily binge it in one night. I binged the first season in one night last time, but this season's even easier to get through, because it keeps moving, and it's constantly gripping. The zombie attacks are pretty awesome. This season begins with a very solid attack sequence. A group of people, protagonists, are retreating from the monsters, and they attempt to hold them off long enough until they can fall back to a fortified position. More than enough horror and action here to satisfy, but the big set piece is the finale, and it spans basically 2 episodes. Pretty memorable stuff. there's a cool little scene involving fire that was pretty neat. And I can't remember seeing something like that in a zombie film before, or a zombie TV show before, so that was pretty cool. And then there's a really long scene involving ice that I thought was pretty cool as well. Again, they do a good job of mixing up the zombie attacks and the ways they're constructed to make it feel kind of refreshing, which is good. Very nicely shot, exciting to watch. Even the blood and the gore in this season seems to be ramped up a little bit more. At least it seemed that way to me. There's one scene where a zombie is on top of a guy, and the amount of blood that comes out of the zombie's mouth is kind of ridiculous, but it was nice to see that in a show like this. So that was cool. There's some good zombie deaths in this as well that I liked. Makeup effects are solid. Makeup effects in this K-drama are better than just about anything we saw in those 6 Resident Evil live-action films. I'll just say that much. So we have all of these like improvements and upgrades in Season 2, along with all the other stuff that made Season 1 good. You know, you have the 15th century setting, of course, which is pretty unique for a zombie story. And obviously the amount of weaponry, the types of weaponry they have at their disposal is limited to the technology of that era, which makes, you know, the zombie interactions and fight scenes and stuff like that pretty interesting. You don't see that very often. The script continues to play with the zombie weaknesses, which helps to distinguish this show from a lot of other zombie stuff out there. You know, they definitely make some changes to the zombie mythos that I've never personally seen before. But it works, so it's good. You know, they're carving out their own niche with the settings and some of the attack sequence constructions and, like, the zombie mythos. This feels like it's its own little zombie thing, its own little zombie story, and it makes it memorable. It continues to avoid most K-drama cliches as well, which is nice. Now, one thing I'm thinking of, though, there's probably a little bit of a debate as to whether or not these are zombies or infected, depending on how you look at it. You know, I'd probably have to think about that, because some people like to draw that line between the infected, like infected humans, or legit zombies. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'd probably have to think about that for a while to come to a final determination. Maybe it's a mix of the two. Of course, these zombies run quite a bit. You know what I mean? So, which is different from the classic Romero zombies. But I'm not really a stickler for that type of thing. I just want some good zombie action. That's what we get here. There's not much to complain about anymore regarding this show. You know, I had some complaints with Season 1, even though I enjoyed it quite a bit. I don't have much to complain about here. There is a cameo that I won't spoil. It was spoiled for me. Like, I read one article on this show before I saw it, because I didn't know exactly when it was coming out. So I Googled it, and it's like, you know, an article. When does Season 2 of Kingdom drop on Netflix? I'm like, oh, okay. So I click on it, and I'm sifting through the article trying to figure out the day of release. And I got a cameo spoiled for me. You know what I mean? I won't tell you who it is, but that kind of irritated me. But that does kind of set things up. You know, I've heard rumors that there might be a Season 3 in the works. You know, but this, unlike the first season, where you ended on a huge cliffhanger, where you're like, this isn't even a story. Like, this season does wrap some things up. You know, it leaves room for a sequel, but it does wrap a lot of things up as well, so you feel more, like, satisfied. So if something happens to Season 3 and they don't make it for some reason, you still have kind of a complete story here to work with. So that's good. So I definitely recommend Kingdom, which is available on Netflix in the United States. Check this out. And as always, I'll see you next time.